Well, hi, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Bengal Magazine. And on today's show, we're going to start with swimming and diving. The assistant coach for the Bengals, Adrien Downey, joins us, and Adrien is bringing along Tyler Minnick, the junior from Latham, New York. And then we're talking soccer. Nick DeMarsh is joining us, and Nick is bringing along Jada Sargeant, the freshman midfielder from Camillus, and Nick is having an outstanding season. And so is Mark Howlett, men's soccer. Mark's bringing along Drew Braun, the defender from East Aurora, and Drew is a junior. Of course, we'll have Bengal Update with Matt Schaefer and the Tim Hortons Athlete of the Week. So we got a big show. Stay with us. We're coming right back and talking swimming and diving. Well, welcome back, everybody, and we're going to go in the pool now, talk a little swimming and diving, and Adrien Downey, the assistant coach for the Bengals, joins us, along with Tyler Minnick, who's an outstanding junior from Latham, New York, outside of Albany. And Adrien, give us a little preview of both teams. Let's start with the men's side first.
Sure. So we have kind of a split story with both teams where we're obviously looking to continue the momentum that we brought into the end of last year with good showings at the conference championships. But we also have a lot of first years on the team, either true freshmen or transfers. So we're trying to kind of figure out what our identity is, definitely continuing on the good work that we ended up on last year and looking to the upperclassmen like Tyler and upperclass women to lead the way, but also figuring out kind of what we have, what we're dealing with some of those freshmen, and sorting out where they're at and where they need to go.
Well, we'll get back to that. How about the women's side?
The women's side is a lot of new faces, on the women's side. We graduated a number of seniors last year. On the returner side, we have Asya Abdullah as our captain this year, which is a very exciting story for us. I mean, she has been kind of the centerpiece of the team in her time here, and seeing her pick up really where she left off at the end of last year has been a very encouraging sign. So we're looking to her for leadership, and then looking for the rest of the team to step up around her.
Yeah, absolutely. And you looked at Tyler and mentioned him as an upperclassman, a junior. And personal goals for you, Tyler, as you start looking at the long view here this season?
Well, I know this has been my overall goal so far. I missed the 200 fly record last year by less than a second. Okay. So I'm really looking to, that's probably my number one goal for the season.
You want to see your name on the board?
Yeah, I do.
Great.
I really want to see my name on the board. I got a couple other competitive people on my team that are also going for the same record. So
that's great.
At least I got some competition there, and I think it's a good goal.
Well, it's always nice to be pushed by your teammates. Your specialty is the fly and the IM. Yep. Your favorite?
I would have to say the fly.
Is that right?
The IM is really exhausting.
It is,
especially as a race. But yeah, the fly, there's something about it. I've always wanted to do it because it always looks the coolest. I mean, when I was younger.
And the hardest.
Yeah, when I was younger, I always thought that it looked the coolest, so I always wanted to do that, and I turned out to be actually pretty good at it.
Oh, that's great. And yet you set, and I know Jeff's here, an unofficial school record in the 100 IM against Wells last weekend in 102.37. Was that time where you thought you'd be right now? Maybe a little ahead of the game?
Honestly, I think a little bit ahead of the game. Compared to last year's times, I feel as though I'm progressing a lot quicker.
Yep.
Definitely the middle part of my race is starting to actually develop because I've mostly been good at the fly and the free.
Yeah.
So I've had the beginning and the end were always pretty good, but now finally the middle's kind of catching up there, and I can drop some more time in there.
Must be the coaching, huh, Coach?
That's all Nick.
Absolutely. Oh, there you go. Okay. But you had talked about especially on the men's side, the identity of your team. Now we're coming off the first meet of the year against Wells here at Kissinger. Both big wins. What did you like? What are the things you're looking to work on now as we move forward?
It's a good question. I mean, it's always a mixed bag when we talk about dual meets. There's always some things to really like, some things to not like, and then a lot of things in the middle that we don't really know what to make of. I mean, that's an early meet, actually a week earlier than we started our dual meet season last year. So we do have to put an asterisk on that. However, I really like where the returners are at for the most part, and just their command of their strokes, whether it's been in practice or at that first dual meet. They've all looked so fluid, like they're really beginning to internalize the things we started working on with them last year, and that's great to see. The team spirit was also quite good on the deck throughout the whole meet, so that's encouraging to see that start at a high level. I think it bodes well for where we're headed in the future.
And you've got this already in the making, done superstar Alyssa Graymont, the recruit from California. Set a school and pool record in 1,000 free by 7 seconds. Tell us a little bit about her.
So Alyssa is, can I just go quickly into the backstory of how she came
absolutely.
here? 'Cause I think this is,
we have about 3 minutes. So.
Sure, it says so much about her and also the team that brought her here.
Absolutely.
So at the end of last season at the Nationals in Greensboro, her brother, Zach Graymont, who's currently a senior on the team, was pretty instrumental in organizing a whole convoy of guys. You were there, coming down all the way from Buffalo to watch Connor Mergler, rising junior, swim his races at the Nationals.
Correct.
And I really was struck by how much of an impact that made on people kind of around the country. I mean, Alyssa cited that as something that really caught her eye about the makeup of that team that would come 650 miles to go support one teammate through a couple of days of racing. So it also says a lot about her to be someone that is keyed into those things and that values those things. So we're very happy to have her. Very pleased with where she started at, but we're going to take her a lot further, definitely, than where she started.
What a great story. Thank you for telling us about that. Tyler, very interesting. International relations is your major. I'm going away from swimming because our viewers like to hear about the student and student athlete. And your concentration, you told me, was in peace and conflict. So we have about 2 minutes. Tell me what do you want to be when you grow up, as they say?
Honestly, a life in public service is very broad. It kind of takes you wherever you want to go, but I would ideally like to be in a intergovernmental organization. Probably the biggest one is definitely the United Nations. Maybe not quite to that level, but something similar. Maybe even work within even private companies to help, I don't know, to look in their international departments, see if there's if they're looking to set up in a different country. Any relation between international governments really just it's interesting to me. And especially
it's interesting just listening to you about it and the peace and conflict. Who'd have thunk that was available here at Buffalo State, and you're making it work, so congratulations on that, Tyler. Adrien, thanks for being with us on the show. The Bengals are at Monroe Community College this weekend, and then next weekend on November 5th, back home against Pitt Bradford, 1 o'clock at the Kissinger Pool. Best of luck.
Thank you.
We'll take a quick break. When we come back, women's soccer joins us. This is a college that inspires. Here you'll be engaged, strive for excellence, and prepare for a career. Visit our amazing Elmwood Village campus and apply today. You'll achieve your edge here. This place is Buffalo State College. We want to congratulate this week's Tim Hortons Athlete of the Week, and it's Alyssa Graymont. How about that, from women's swimming? What a college debut she had. The freshman set a pool and school record by winning the 1,000 free in 10:57.77 in the win over Wells. Alyssa broke the old school record by more than 7 seconds. The political science major from Morgan Hill, California, also won the 100 free with a time of 57.78 and swam a leg of the winning 200 medley relay. So congratulations going out to Alyssa Graymont, this week's Tim Hortons Athlete of the Week. Let's talk a little soccer. We're joined by the women's soccer team here at Buffalo State. Nick DeMarsh joins us along with Jada Sargeant, his outstanding freshman midfielder. And Coach, first of all, both of you, congratulations. It has been an unbelievable season. Maybe not unbelievable, but a great season in that sense. The Bengals are 14-1-2, 9-0 in the conference, having won the regular season conference championship. We look forward to the playoffs now. 19th in the nation, the first time ever in the top 20 for women's soccer. So, huge kudos. So let's go back a few months. And I think you were kind of looking forward to this season, but sometimes I can't read you. Did you think it was going to be where it is today?
I thought we'd be very good and competitive. I thought we'd win a lot of games. Obviously going on a streak like the streak that we're on is very difficult, and we didn't anticipate that. But I don't think at the end of the day that winning the conference again is a big surprise. I think we're getting what we deserve.
Yeah. Where did the role of England? Sometimes it's, well, maybe we're overstating the fact, but here's a chance where you can start early, the team gets together, et cetera, et cetera. What kind of role did that trip to England play, do you think, Nick?
I think it was a big positive for the returners because it helped to bind that group. And it was very interesting in terms of the contrasting style of play there. When you play West Ham and they're all about possession and build up, and we're a pressing team and not as concerned about keeping the ball. It was interesting to see how our style of play matched up there and how we could be effective, and how a really good team over there, like the Blackburn Rovers, were able to break us down when we pressed. Every time we made a mistake, they put the ball in the back of the net. So
wow.
It was an interesting, intellectual exercise for the team. But I think it also posed some challenges, because when we bring in a large group of freshmen and try to integrate them into a team that's gone through an experience like that, there's obviously going to be some back and forth.
Sure.
And that's been a challenge all year. And I think we've started to come to grips with that and become a better team now. I think, though, in the early days, though, that was tough. That was a challenge.
Well, your outstanding freshman is nodding her head up and down. And Jada came to us from Camillus, just outside of Syracuse, and an interesting recruiting story. Tell us a little bit how you got to Buffalo State.
Originally, I was going to Seton Hall to play soccer.
Division I?
Yes. And I hurt my shoulder and had to get surgery. So that was no longer an option, obviously. And Coach DeMarsh saw me play at Salins, like in Buffalo.
Yeah.
And we started talking, and I came and visited, and I just really liked the school.
And the rest is history, as they say. You're going to say something.
I saw her play watching. I didn't actually go to see her team play, but the game I watched, she stood out to me, and I was just kind of astonished because she looked like the best player on the field. And, okay, I'm here to see this kid, and she's good, and I'll talk to her, but who's that? And the coach said, actually, I think she might still be looking for a school.
Oh my gosh,
and he gave me a
what
little
great
bit of background on her, and I'm like, oh my word.
Yeah.
So I watched all the qualities that she had, particularly her grit and her aggression and the way she put herself about the field, and I knew that if I had a chance to get her, we had to get her.
Well, she's one of your leading players in terms of minutes played. And Jada, as a freshman, sometimes you don't see that very often as a freshman coming in, especially soccer, I think. Did that surprise you at all, where you are in terms of playing time on this team?
I was grateful to get the time, but I knew that coming in that I would do what I had to do to get the minutes.
Okay. Obviously, she's a great success for you, but you said off camera, you were kind of expecting her to play. That's the type of player she is?
Well, there's always, you kind of alluded to it, there's always a jump when you're a freshman, jumping into a college team and, making the social transition, but also the transition on the field. You're playing against seniors who are 21, 22, been around the block a few times. And Jada, my only concern was how long will it take her to make the jump, the competitive jump.
Okay.
And it hasn't taken very long.
No.
We saw in the last couple games what she can really do.
Wow.
And now she's seemingly fully integrated into college soccer and is, I think, one of the keys to our success.
Well, you mentioned keys, and you don't get to be the 19th ranked team in the country without some formula, without some successes. So if I was to ask you, what is the formula, Coach? What are the three or four keys that have helped you get to where we are right now?
Well, I think the one thing is, and probably the most important thing is, effort is it's not negotiable. You have to put in 100% effort. If you're on the field and you're not intense and switched on and working at your maximum level, you have to come off.
Mm-hmm.
And we try to do that in practice as well. So another tenet of the way we train is a lot of competition. We keep score, we keep track of winners and losers. Winners get rewarded. Losers drop down in the pile. And I think that attitude and that kind of environment promotes the competitiveness you need for the big games.
Right. So. Yeah, you and I talked, I just got done off the elliptical, and I'm overlooking one of your practices, and you're playing this little miniature type soccer game with these little goals, and I go, he must have given them a day off. And then you tell me, oh no, that's competitive. We keep score. We know whose team is winning, and these girls know what's going on.
Those days are actually heavy days.
Oh my gosh!
Because you're working so hard in that small-sided game with very little rest, and we do it, over and over and over again. That is our conditioning day.
Right.
that is certainly not a day off.
Right. We've got 2 minutes. As we tape, you will be playing today at Koyer, St. John Fisher. But next Wednesday, the semifinals of the playoffs start and the big goal obviously is to win the conference and to get into the tournament, obviously NCAA's. So what's the philosophy now, if you could wrap it up in a minute and a half? What today's game leading into next Wednesday's game?
We need to win today's game. We cannot have a letdown in intensity. You know, we don't want to count our chickens before they hatch, but if we win today, we have a very good chance of getting an at-large bid regardless of the playoffs.
Correct.
We're in a great position.
Yep.
So today is not a day off. We're going to fully engage St. John Fisher and try to beat them.
Okay.
From there, it's just make sure that we're fine-tuning and staying healthy and try to avoid injuries, make sure we're competitive, give them the right amount of rest, encourage the players to sleep and eat and do their homework, and lay low and
just do the right thing.
That's right.
As we prepare. Well, next Wednesday, November 2nd, the playoffs start at Koyer. Undetermined opponent right now. I believe it's a 3 o'clock start, I believe. So if you're looking for some...
1 o'clock.
1 o'clock, thank you, Nick. 1 o'clock start. If you're looking for some great women's soccer, just great soccer, next Wednesday at Koyer Field is the place to be for the SUNY playoffs. Nick, Jada, thank you so much, and best of luck the rest of the way.
Thanks, Tom.
Thanks for having
We'll
us.
take a quick break, but we're going to keep talking soccer because Mark Howlett's joining us, and we'll talk men's soccer. Stay with us.
Hello everyone and welcome to Bengal Update. I'm Matthew Schaefer with a recap of news, scores, and a look at upcoming events surrounding Buffalo State athletics. Both the men's and women's soccer teams will be hosting SUNY playoff games to kick off the Buffalo State fall postseason. The men's team will start things off on Saturday as number 5 New Paltz comes to town for the SUNY quarterfinals at 3 p.m. The winner of the game will move on to the semifinals against number 1 seed Cortland on Saturday, November 2nd. The Bengals finished the season 10-6-1 and earned the 4th seed in the conference tournament. It is the 3rd time in 4 seasons that Buffalo State has qualified for the playoffs under head coach Mark Howlett. The championship game for the SUNY is set for Saturday, November 5th, hosted by the highest remaining seed of the tournament. The women's team, which finished a perfect 9-0 in conference play and 14-1-2 overall, will be hosting the winner of Plattsburgh and Oswego in a semifinal matchup on Wednesday, November 2nd at 1 p.m. With their perfect record in the conference, the Bengals won the SUNY regular season title for the 2nd straight season and earned a first-round bye. Coach Nick DeMarsh's squad has now made the playoffs in 5 straight seasons. You can watch both playoff games live on BuffaloStateAthletics.com. Men's and women's cross country is also set for the postseason, and it gears up for the SUNY Championships hosted by Geneseo on Saturday at 11 a.m. Football dropped their last contest to Utica on Saturday, 26-13. The Bengals, who are 4-3 on the year, will look to rebound as it jumps in the home stretch of Empire 8 play, starting with Senior Day this Saturday at Koyer Field against visiting Hartwick. Kickoff was bumped up to 11:15 a.m. due to men's soccer hosting its playoff game immediately afterwards at 3. The Bengals then head on the road the following 2 Saturdays to finish out the regular season against Ithaca and Brockport. Women's volleyball closes its season this weekend in New York City at the New York Region Challenge hosted by NYU. The Bengals will return a young core next season as the team had just 2 upperclassmen on the squad, both juniors. And as fall sports wrap up, some winter sports are already starting to get in full swing here at Buffalo State. Both men's and women's swimming and diving started its season off 1-0 with a dual meet win against Wells College on Saturday. The men's team won 184-65, while the women took it 153-85. The highlight of the event was by freshman Alyssa Graymont, who in her first collegiate meet set the pool and school record in the 1,000 free by more than 7 seconds with a time of 10:57.77. Both teams will head to Rochester this Saturday to take on Monroe Community College in another dual meet at 1 p.m. And it's almost time for hockey to return to Buffalo State as the women's team kicks off its season as it hosts the Buffalo State Bengals Classic this weekend at the Ice Arena. The Bengals will play Plymouth State on Friday at 5:30 p.m., followed by a game on Saturday at 1 against Nichols. You can watch the entire tournament on BuffaloStateAthletics.com. And men's hockey returns on Friday, November 4th with the SUNY and Battle by the Lake match up against Fredonia at 7 p.m. For Bengal Magazine, I'm Matthew Schaefer. Let's send it back to Tom Koller in the studio.
Well, thanks, Matt, for that terrific Bengal update. And we are joined now by the laughable Mark Howlett. We have so much fun off camera, and it is fabulous. The men's soccer coach at Buffalo State, and Drew Braun, his outstanding junior defender from East Aurora via ECC. So welcome, gentlemen. These questions will kind of mirror what I asked Nick, because you're kind of having similar seasons, especially both of you went to England, et cetera, back in August. But 10-6-1 overall, 5-4 in the conference, heading into the playoffs again. Congratulations.
Thank you.
As you look back, is this where you thought the team would be, or did you think a little higher? What was your thought process there?
I mean, obviously, when we start out, the goal is making sure we're in the postseason.
That's right.
And then as the season goes, we reevaluate. I think there's been multiple games where we've almost beat ourselves instead of the opposition beating us.
Okay.
There may have only been one game this season where we probably just weren't at the races that day. So it's great. Our highest finish since I've been here, fourth.
Absolutely.
Home playoff game, which
Fabulous.
hasn't happened since the 80s.
Yep.
So it's all positives. I think we're in a great frame of mind. Even though we're coming off of 2 losses,
Yeah.
I think that the guys are ready and excited about this weekend and returning home.
You agree with that, Drew? I mean, the whole picture of the season, did it kind of flow the way you thought it would flow?
Yeah, we had our target to try and win as many games as we could.
Sure.
But we could have done better. We lost some games that we shouldn't have. But as a team, I feel like we're ready for the postseason. We're ready to put our work in and take all that hard work that we've been working on the whole season and put it to good use.
This guy comes to you from ECC, played at East Aurora. What did you see in him when you were recruiting him, and what does he bring to the table?
Even at high school, watching him, he's got a great soccer IQ. He understands the game. He's competitive. He's played at a very high level. I think that his desire in soccer at that point may not have been where he wanted it to be, going to a 4-year and committing 4 years. Obviously playing 2 years at ECC, having success, leading that team. I mean, he was the biggest guy for us this year coming in.
Is that right?
Someone that we really needed back there to lead us, to organize us.
Wow.
To just make us better in that area, and he's done that.
That's kind of heady stuff. I mean, here's the coach telling you, you're the guy we needed. Did you feel that going into the season, that, here's my role, I've got to now accept this and go for it?
Well, like you said, like when I was coming out of high school, I wasn't mature enough coming out of high school to want to go to a big school. I wanted to have fun with soccer, so I went to ECC for 2 years.
Yep.
And then coming here, I wanted a more competitive feel to my soccer. I wanted to be competitive again.
Sure.
And this team really helped me out with that. They are a very, very good team. So it's really fun coming to this team and being able to help out as best as I can and contribute to the team.
Yeah, that's fantastic. We are at 10-6-1 and the success that you're having annually now. But I want to talk about this season a little bit. The formula to your success this season, 1 or 2 key points that have got you to this point.
Ultimately, I think it's just the work we've built on year after year. I don't think it's just all of a sudden happened. I think that we created a culture and an environment that we wanted to see on a daily basis, and we haven't been a one-season wonder. It's kind of built on that.
That's right.
And we've built the pieces that we need year after year, and we'll continue doing that. So I think it's just the work that they put in day after day, the expectations don't ever drop, and they understand that. So I think it's just the fruits of our labor from the past.
And that's important. You're building, exactly, the roots have taken hold now from what you're trying to get accomplished when you first came here. Chemistry on the team, similar to what he's saying, guys know, hey, it's my step here. I'm taking the step up, I got to perform.
Yep. The thing is with our team, it's all about egos. There's no big egos on our team. There's so much chemistry on our team that everyone forms together really well. And we play in a formation where we can just put people into the formation and we'll work together super well, because that's how we practice.
Wow.
We practice every day being able to know who you're going to pass it to no matter who it is there.
Sure. Well, guys, I wish you the best of luck again. Men's soccer playoffs here against New Paltz at Coyer Field, Saturday, the 29th of October, 3 p.m. start. Come on out and watch some fantastic soccer. Best of luck to you down the road. That's going to wrap it up for this edition of Bengal Magazine. My thanks to everybody here at Creative Media Services and all my guests. We'll see you again in 2 weeks for more Bengal Magazine.